Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of Ta1k Podcast. On this podcast, we spell talk with the one instead of an L because on this podcast, we always keep it 100. All right. Hey, we back again. Is this part 3?
Part 3.
Part 3 like Rocky, baby. We are back. Burgess and Son episode. Once again, I got my favorite person, one of my favorite persons in the world, Keith Burgess. He is back again with another episode with me, Burgess and Son episode. We gonna get into it today. First of all, shout out to everybody, all the birthdays in December. Shout out to all the birthdays. You know anybody off the top of your head birthdays in December?
Yeah, my dad, your granddad, okay. December 25th.
Hey, on Christmas. Happy birthday to you. We will see you soon, I think. Right? Well, you will see him soon. Okay, so yeah, we'll see you soon. We'll call you on your birthday. All the other birthdays in December, happy birthday to you. I think who else's birthday? Somebody's famous birthdays in December.
LeBron James?
It is LeBron. Happy birthday to everybody in December. We happy. We ready for December. I love December. Well, I love November, December, period. I really love from October, the end of October, all the way to probably February. That's my favorite time of year crossing over, I guess. That's my favorite time of the years is having that period because football is getting real tight. You got playoffs about to happen soon. The playoffs do happen in January. Then you got the Super Bowl. College football with the 12-team playoff is about to start picking up next week. That's going to be very exciting. How you feel about that 12-team playoff?
I like it, but I don't like it. I like that there's more teams involved, but I don't like the top 4 seeding thing with the conference winners. I mean, I guess they're trying to almost be like basketball where you get an automatic bid if you win your conference. Yeah. But I mean, if you're the 23rd best team in the country and you look up and win your conference, I don't know. I don't know if I want to see that necessarily, but I'm excited to see all the games. I like that some of these games at this time of year actually gonna mean something than these worthless Cheez-It bowls or whatever bowl.
Whatever bowls there is. Hey, I gave a shout out last week. Shout out to all the bowl games because to normal spectators, it don't mean nothing. We don't really watch the Cheez-It bowl. We don't watch the Pop-Tart bowl. We don't really watch none of that. But to those that are playing, some of those guys, that's their last time playing football forever. And some of those guys, they don't be destined for the NFL, so this is their Super Bowl. And so, shout out to those guys, but I ain't gonna lie, a lot of people not watching. But I get it, though. Like you said, I think it's very different for basketball because, every conference it is. But they give a fair chance to every conference. So you're talking about a conference we don't ever even heard of. Whoever win that conference championship gets a bid in it. And you're we never heard of this team. But that's so much fair in basketball-wise. But it's hard to do that in football, like you said, because, Clemson was number 20?
Yeah, I think they were maybe a little bit higher than that. But they were not one of the top 12.
Wait, not Clemson. Arizona State. Arizona State was 19, 16, or whatever it was.
I think they were 16, something like that.
Won the conference and they jumped up to number 3, I think.
I think they're 4th.
Yeah, that's crazy because you did bump out a lot of teams that probably did deserve it. Alabama is not one of them. I'm not putting them up. They don't deserve it. But it's some teams I feel like deserve a bid. But the way you did with the conference, that kind of hurted them a little bit. But I mean, it's a stepping stone. It's something we're gonna learn as the time go by, and we're gonna get right. I feel like in the future. What's one thing? I know it hasn't really truly happened yet, so we don't know. But what's one thing you think that you would change about college football playoffs that can probably make it better?
I don't know. I really don't know. I would like to just see the best 12 teams in the country, kind of regardless of conference. We could start with that. The first round games, I like, that there's a home team and an away team. And in the second round, I think they start with bowls there. Yeah. Is that right? Mm-hmm. So I would like for them second round games to be the same format, and the semifinal and the final be the only games that are neutral site.
Yeah, I think the second round should be also home and away game. Yeah, that would be more realistic a little bit. I mean, I guess for the NFL, you really got home and away games all the way. The Super Bowl is the only thing that's neutral site. So, yeah. Yeah, I would change seedings because of conference. 12 best teams. I understand that the 12 best. Really, to be honest, if y'all want the college football playoffs to be the SEC and a few teams from other conferences, then you can come out and say that. Then we can start wasting our time trying to argue about, well, this team did this. Look at this resume. Because really, you want the whole SEC and then Oregon, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and that's pretty much it. Because everybody else is just whatever. Can't wait for those. Later on, we are going to call some of those bowl games that's going to happen. Not all the important ones. We're going to call the first round. That's going to start next week. Yeah, we're going to call a few of them. But let's get into it. I just said, this is my favorite time of the year. We're coming up on Christmas. Christmas is going to be fun. And then right after Christmas, we got New Year's. New Year's is always a fun time to chill, get with family, do your New Year's resolution. The gyms are going to be packed on January 1st, 2nd, and the 3rd. They'll be empty by January 13th. But you know how it is, New Year's resolution. You are from New York. How is New Year's in New York?
I mean, it's great. Now, if you're asking how is New Year's on Times Square, New Year's Eve, that was like the worst experience ever. I only went once. That's the only time you need. And I know I'll never do it again. But I was 17 at the time, so this is a long time ago. We're talking about 1987 or 1988, somewhere in that range. And I went with a friend of mine. You know, we took the subway right into Times Square, came right up into it. I've never seen so many people in my entire life in one place. And I'm talking about shoulder to shoulder, like can't move at all. Plus, it was like super cold that night. I mean, like maybe not single digits, but teens, low 20s. Like it was really, really cold. And you couldn't move. Now, it was kind of a spectacular sight because they had stages everywhere. Like, you don't really actually see that on TV. Mm-hmm. On TV, you just see somebody performing, and then, they go back to the host, and then somebody else is performing. But the way they do that is to have multiple stages all around it. Mm-hmm. So the cameras just kind of swivel from one stage to the next. And, that was actually, pretty cool having, seeing some of those performances live and everything. But as far as the experience itself, trying to leave there after it was over and everybody trying to get into something. Horrible. And I love Times Square, but I mean, I would never do that again. Never, ever, ever, ever.
Do you remember anybody specific who would perform that night?
Man, I'm getting old. I don't want to be wrong. I've seen so many shows, especially in my youth, that I honestly don't remember. What I remember more than anything else is being ridiculously uncomfortable the entire time we were there and how it was not fun. But I don't remember any of the performances.
All right, so if you are somebody who's planning to go to New York for New Year's, just know it's uncomfortable and it's crowded. Okay, so because I look at it on TV and I'm looking like, dude, there's a lot. Every year I'm like, there's a lot of people. Like, I don't think I could be in that crowd. Then once the ball drop, Happy New Year, you got everybody going crazy. That's when that's when the party just started, really. That's when you start to get drunk. Everybody's about to go to another bar. I know there's bars around there and you got to do what you got to do. That's what's crazy. So the experience at Times Square is a no-go, but New York, period, because I know it gets cold and you got the snow, but it seems like it's fun dealing with it in New York. So I think that's a good experience. But, yeah, Times Square, I definitely wouldn't do it. Speaking of New York, I saw a video not too long ago. LL Cool J. LL Cool J came out and said that he doesn't care about where you rank him as far as hip hop, top whatever. He just want to be recognized as one of the best influencers. Do you believe LL Cool J is one of the top influencers to the game of rap game and media game now? Especially now he do movies a lot too.
No question. No question. Now, lyrically, just if we're judging just straight on hip hop, I wouldn't put him in my top 5. But his influence on hip hop, undeniable. Undeniable. So he was the first one, at least that I can remember, that like made a love song with that "I Need Love" when he was, like 17-year-old. Hip hop artists weren't making songs like that. He took a lot of risks that probably that definitely a lot of other artists in his time did not take. He did. He was experimental with his music. I think he set the tone for, a lot of artists branching out into other things. He was the first to do a lot of those things as far as, branching out into TV and music and, other things besides just, making records and making music videos and whatever. And he's a great MC as well. Let's not forget that he's a tremendous MC. And has been, since he was, 15, 16 years old. Damn. Funny little side note. I went to the same school as LL Cool J for 1 year. Now, he was gone by the time I went to that school because he had actually already hit it big. He had just, Crush Groove, the movie had just come out, and, I Need a Beat, and all of his, his first album had come out, and so he wasn't at that school anymore. The school doesn't even exist anymore. Damn. It's called Christopher Robin Academy, and it was on Merrick Boulevard in Queens, New York. And basically, it was a scam school. That's kind of how it ended up getting shut down, and why I only went there for 1 year, because it really wasn't a school.
Wait, we talking about what's that? Bishop something Academy? The one that was a fake school that played IMG on TV?
I'm not familiar with that, but I'm familiar with this because I went to that school. It was a private school, so my parents are paying tuition for me to go there. It was a total scam. They showed my mother all these brochures of horseback riding and all this other kind of stuff. It was in the middle of New York City in Queens. There wasn't any of that there. We had a gym that wasn't even big enough to have a full-size basketball court in there. What? We didn't have PE. We did have a basketball team, but we didn't really have a coach. Our history teacher was the coach, and he knew literally nothing about basketball. So, we'd go to these games and play against other high schools that maybe athletically weren't as good as us, but because of the coach and the organization and how they had been taught the game, they would just wipe us out. I remember one thing that was so funny that we played a game where one of our guys got fouled going to the basket, and so he was going to shoot free throws. Nobody knew how to line up. Nobody knew how to line up on the on the side of the lane to try to get the rebound on the free throws. They were just standing around, because basically in our gym, like I said, it was only big enough for one basketball hoop, and we played 21, and that's what you do when you play 21. If somebody's shooting a free throw, you stand wherever you want. Yeah. So we didn't even understand the concept of lining up. But yeah. Interesting little tidbit. I went to that same school, but the year I started was the year he left that school to, embark on his career.
First of all, not knowing how to line up on a free throw line is insane. That's like basketball 101. Sometimes when I do play 21, I have to refrain myself from going lined up. Dude, this is not real basketball. Damn. Well. That's crazy. It's crazy how big New York is, but how small it can be at times of who you connect with, who you pass. Because a lot of it, with like Brooklyn, Queens, all of those are kind of not close, but they're close enough to where you could potentially pass by somebody that was going to make it or be future famous, like LL Cool J, like Biggie, like a lot of other ones. We talked about in the first time, part 1 of the Burgess episode, Burgess Son episode, that you said Kareem was the best basketball player to come from New York. You got other ones that follow suit. Kenny Anderson, a lot of them. I think Lamar Odom's from New York, ain't he? Lamar Odom. A lot of these cats that are from New York that are good at basketball. Is there anybody that you could say from New York that's probably the best in football that come out of New York?
I'm not even aware of any. Like high school football, college football is not the big deal that it is everywhere else in the country, especially in the South. Like they just don't care about it as much. They're more into the NFL, way more into the NFL. I can't think of a single player, and I mean, I know there are, but I can't think of a single player of prominence that's from New York City, which, if you think about it, that's amazing. Yeah. I mean, New York City has 8 million people that live in it and a 20 million population for the metro area. And I can't name a football player that I know that was from New York. That's crazy.
Hey, you never think about it because, you said it. New York is not football. Y'all basketball. Like, literally, that was the true definition of you either rap or go to the league, basketball-wise in New York, because everybody was either a good rapper or a good basketball player. And if you was neither, you must be a doctor in the making because you either got to rap or play basketball here, sir. Yeah, I'm happy. It's closer to New Year's. I can't wait. Thank you for the story about LL and just a story period about New York. That's crazy. I don't think I'm gonna be able to watch free throws on TV the same. I'm gonna be watching them. See, can y'all line up correctly? Everybody, like NBA. Because sometimes in the NBA, they be bullshitting lining up. You got to tell them, like, dude, scoot over. Like, what are you doing? Okay. I don't know if you have seen, you watched First Take, I know. But I don't know if you've seen when Molly had a rant on Stephen A. not too long ago. So, I forgot what the topic was. I think it was, I gotta look up the topic. It was some topic that's going based off of do you think this small market team can do this? And Stephen A's like, no, this and that. Oh, I think it was Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold being should he get a contract or this and that? And he's like, no, this and that. Big market. And then Molly was just like furious, like Stephen A don't know nothing but big market. Like he wants everybody to come to New York and do this. If you don't do good with this, you need to leave that team because they're a small market. Like she went the fuck off on Stephen A. Now, this is one thing I can say from there. I never really liked Molly because I just felt like she was a yes man. You know what I'm saying? Like she don't know really sports. She just go along because she getting a check. But seeing her do that kind of got me on rounds of like, okay, she actually know what she's talking about. Because but I guess you with Stephen A, you just got to play your part so you get your role. But I wanted to ask you about that. Did you see that rant? And I guess you didn't. If you need to look it up, tell me what you would think about it. But I guess you didn't see the rant, right?
No, I didn't see it. I can kind of understand where he's coming from when he says that, as far as possibly the business side. But I mean, like, small markets have always had really good teams. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, San Antonio Spurs, there was a dynasty. Green Bay Packers. Green Bay has like 100,000 people. I mean, in fact, I want to say that's the smallest city with any kind of major league team in the United States. Really? I didn't know that. So, I mean, like, well, dude, do you know about Green Bay for anything else? No, you don't. I'll help you with that. So, I mean,
maybe not Green Bay, but just a whole state.
But I mean, you got like Milwaukee, which it's a major city, but it is kind of a small market. I think it's kind of unfair to say that someone should go to a big market. Maybe they don't want to. But the thing is, especially in a salary cap league like football or basketball, it doesn't really much matter what market is. Everybody's got the opportunity to spend the same amount of money. Yeah. So, I mean, the Knicks don't have a chance to spend more on salaries than the Sacramento Kings. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know exactly where that's coming from, but then again, haven't not seen a clip of that rant. I can't really speak to it.
Yeah, I wish I would have saw it before this because I thought about it, but I got to remember what she exactly said. But it was crazy. It's a rant that you got to see. It was just crazy. And I get it. Small markets don't get a lot of love, but that's what it is. Small markets, do you consider Minnesota as a small market?
To be honest, I don't know a whole lot, but I would say yeah. Because these are the big markets that at least come to mind for me. New York, L.A., Chicago, Dallas, Houston, Philadelphia.
You say Philadelphia is a big market?
Oh, yeah, Philadelphia's a huge city. Washington, D.C. and that whole area, the whole DFW area, so that would kind of include Baltimore in that. Out west, San Francisco. I would say Vegas is becoming it, especially now that they're starting to get all these professional teams now.
Yep, they got the A's coming next year, or this upcoming
year.
Yeah.
I'm probably missing out on a few, but like those are the Boston. There's.
You consider
Atlanta, yeah, okay. Absolutely. Those are all what I would consider just off the top of my head big markets, just based on the population of those cities and their metro areas. Because, San Antonio, actually, if you want to know the truth, San Antonio is like one of the top 10 most populated cities in the country, but they always call it a small market just because of its metro area. Yeah. The suburbs around San Antonio aren't as big as, say, the suburbs around Atlanta. Yeah. Like Atlanta, if I remember right, they have like 500,000 or 600,000 population in the city of Atlanta, but the metro area is like 6 million. So, I mean, I'm not even exactly 100% sure what defines small or big market, but I don't really think it matters much. It's just like any personal business or any business period. It's the way you manage it more than where you're at. True. Because if you think about it, where you're at, if you got a lot of competition, that changes the game for you. You got to be that much better to, get the business than you would if it's a real small town. My barbecue spot in Bolivar, Tennessee doesn't necessarily have to be as good as my barbecue spot in Brooklyn.
Yeah, yeah, true that. Dude, Bolivar, I haven't been to Bolivar in forever. I can't even tell you the last time I've been to Bolivar.
I remember.
When?
You played a high school football game there.
Oh, yeah. Is that the last time I've been to Bolivar?
Maybe not. I don't know. That's the last time I know you were there.
Dude, that game, I remember like it was yesterday. That game, I ran into a dude and his knee hit perfectly between my thigh pad and my knee pad. So he was like right there. And dude, I couldn't. And it was like a second quarter. And halftime I went down and I sat down, which was a mistake because I tried to get up and it was so stiff and tight. I couldn't do anything. I could barely walk. So at the time I was playing both sides of the ball and I was like, yo, I can't do nothing, bro. I don't know what y'all want me to do. So I literally strictly played just offense. And every time I was on the sideline, I was running, trying to hop it, do it out. And I mean, after the game was over, I literally needed crutches to leave that facility, dude. My leg was hurting. Yeah, going back to Minnesota, being a small market. Here is why I asked that, okay? I have a proposition, okay? Just hear me out. The Minnesota Vikings are doing very well with Sam Darnold, Okay, Sam Darnold has the end of this year. Then he's going to be a free agent. Do he deserve big time money? Yeah, I think so for this season. Is he going to get it from Minnesota? I don't know. We will have to see that. But they also have J.J. McCarthy. Jamar Chase for the Bengals. He's going to be a free agent after this year, right?
Yeah.
So they haven't paid him. The Bengals haven't paid him. Shame on you, because this year he has been the best receiver in the league. And I got him on my fantasy team. He has been the best receiver in the league. So what I have a proposition of saying is Jamar Chase, free agent, end of this year. Justin Jefferson, one of his college teammates, best friend, plays for the Minnesota Vikings, can lure him in to playing for Minnesota. Now, here's where it gets crazy. Joe Burrow's unhappy because of their losing. If you fire their coach, he built a nice relationship with their coach. We understand you struggle together, you win together, you lose together. So they have their relationship. If you fire his coach, he might be like, all right, whatever. But I think that would set something off to where you can possibly have a trade of Joe Burrow going to Minnesota for J.J. McCarthy and some more picks. So you have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson all in Minnesota next year playing football. What do you think about that?
No way in the world that happens. No way in the world. So you have Joe Burrow on your roster signed now. Okay. For what, 5 years? I think it's 5.
I thought he signed that like 2 years ago.
Okay, then 4, because I think he signed a 5-year deal. But in any case, he's under contract for years to come, and he's arguably the best quarterback in the game. You're not trading that. All right, now let's go to Jamar Chase. All right, Jamar Chase, just like you said, has an argument of being the best wide receiver in the game. I don't know what the hell the Bengals are doing. Pay him. Why are you waiting? It's only going to cost you more money. Pay him. You're definitely going to lose to T. Higgins. You kind of made it clear that you're not going to pay him. So he's going to leave. You can't leave Joe Burrow there with no elite wide receiver. So you know that there's going to be a deal done with Jamar Chase. I suspect that. And even if it doesn't, they got the franchise tag. They can franchise tag him. I wouldn't recommend they do that, but they could do it to keep him there. I think they franchised T. Higgins. That's why he's still there. Yep. So I don't see any possible way this would happen. And I mean, I can't even think what a fair trade for Joe Burrow would even be, because you can't give me a rookie quarterback coming off an injury that's never played in the league. How many more first rounders do you got to give me for me to give up on Joe Burrow? You ain't got enough. You just don't. So, I mean, I don't see it happening. Now, from Minnesota's perspective, of course they would do it, and they'd probably give up whatever Cincinnati wants them to give up in order to make it happen. But seeing as that's not going to happen, it's just crazy. I think with the salary cap implications of Cincinnati trading Burrow kind of makes it impossible too, because like the signing bonus money will count as like dead money. It doesn't make sense to do it. But from Minnesota's perspective, you just spent a first round pick on J.J. McCarthy. All right, Sam Darnold coming up this season is gonna command a lot of money. 30 to 40 million, I would think, a year minimum. If you're Minnesota, I don't think you're going to do that. I think you're going to let him walk and, go with J.J. McCarthy. Because you still got him on his rookie contract. You got him on his rookie contract for 3 more years. Even though he's injured, he's had a chance to, be in your building for a year, watch practice, watch a quarterback who's playing really well, kind of show him how to be a pro. Yeah. So I would think that they would go with that. Plus, you got Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is going to make just about any quarterback look good because he's so great. Just get the ball in the vicinity and don't dirt ball him, and you'll throw for a bunch of yards. But I I don't see Darnold staying in Minnesota, and I definitely don't see Burrow or Jamar Chase leaving Cincinnati. No chance that happens.
I would say that with your Sam Darnold being your quarterback, and everybody probably possibly knows that Sam Darnold is going to be gone this year, so you go with J.J. McCarthy. I guess for a human nature and your feelings, like you just if I'm Justin Jefferson, like how many different quarterbacks am I going to get before I can get one solid one? That's going to stay here for years. And so that's why I say I can see the Joe Burrow thing. Also, you can trade J.J. McCarthy, Jordan Addison, all these other assets that you have. You're not, but I'm saying you could. It's just something to tickle some feathers a little bit. see what people think about it, because I thought about it a couple of times. It sounds unrealistic, but you never know what can happen, because this season has been nothing but unrealistic madness for college and the pros this year. It's been crazy. All right, let's keep it moving. Is there any like I just gave that little theory, is there a theory you have about for next year football?
Not anything that I've thought about, but I guess now thinking out loud, I guess maybe the obvious one, that Aaron Rodgers ain't playing for the Jets next year.
Do you still think he plays?
I don't know. His ego is probably going to allow him to try to play one more year, because he doesn't want to go out. What are they going to be, like probably 4-13, 5-12? Yeah. And he's basically getting blamed for it. I don't think he'll want to go out that way, so he'll probably there might be some interest, for him. My thing is, if you are thinking about bringing in Aaron Rodgers to be your quarterback in 2025, your team's got to be horrible. And I mean, I don't know if he would want to go to another horrible situation like he's in now. So maybe he'd rather retire than do that. I don't know, but I don't think the Jets are going to bring him back. I think what's going to be more interesting is what's going to happen at the top of the draft.
Yeah.
Is you got, some of these teams, like the Giants and the Raiders and the Titans.
Hold on. Why? Why would you do that?
Why would I do what?
Because we trash. I know we trash. So you don't got to point the obvious out. We talking about everybody else. No,
I'm talking about everybody who's going to be at the top of that draft, which is going to include the Tennessee Titans. Hey, just be grateful you haven't traded away that pick and you actually have it.
Yeah.
So, those teams are going to be looking for quarterbacks, and it's just going to be interesting to see what happens, with Shador coming out this year. And, Shador goes to the Raiders. You just don't know. If the Giants have that number one pick, I think they're going to take them. I think if it so happens that the team that gets the one pick needs a quarterback, they're taking him. I think he's going to be the first quarterback pick.
Oh, I just remembered. Daniel Jones is on the Vikings too.
Daniel Jones is on the Vikings. And I think he's got 2 years left on his deal. I think.
Okay, I didn't think about that.
Well, you know what? Did they waive him or did they waived him? Well, because if they waived him, his contract is still kind of in place. If they cut him, then it's not, and he'll be a free agent after this year.
I can't remember. I gotta check it.
I want to say they cut him.
I think they did.
I think they cut him. But but Daniel Jones obviously is nobody's answer for anything except for a backup.
I just remember that he's on there when he said that.
Yeah. But, like the Jets, as bad as they are, could potentially be up there. And, of course, there could be a team that maybe didn't finish as bad, but they're like, hey, we need a quarterback. Let's trade up. Yeah. So I think there's probably more intrigue with the draft than anything that I could think of off the top of my head right now. And then another thing I've been thinking about is I'm predicting right now, this is before the Heisman Trophy winner is announced, but Travis Hunter will win the Heisman Trophy. And it is tonight.
Okay.
where does he land? And will they let him play both ways? Will they let him play wide receiver and corner? Is off the top of my head, I would say that, probably most coaches would be against him playing both ways. And they're probably, because corners are harder to find than wide receivers, they probably want him to play corner. And then, have a few plays where he, lines up as a wide receiver on offense, but not every down like he's doing now. But I'm interested to see what both of those guys do in their pro careers, because both of them have been so spectacular in college, and it doesn't always translate. But I think in Travis Hunter's case, I think he's going to be a great pro. Shador, there's a possibility he doesn't do as well. Is quarterbacks?
I think he'll be like Tom Brady, not rings wise, just play style.
You never know. I mean, it's so important that a young quarterback has the right environment with the right team and the right coaching and the right support. And, these teams that are at the top of the draft are at the top of the draft for a real good reason. It's because they stink. And usually it's because they stink at the top and it trickles down. So the organization itself is so important for quarterbacks. They have to have the right support. I mean, I'm not saying that like Caleb Williams is a bust or anything. He's definitely not playing well. But at least from a GM standpoint, they tried to give him weapons. Yeah. Now, they had an idiot as a coach, which hopefully that they'll be able to fix that. But, like Jaden Daniels came into what I thought was a terrible situation, and to everybody out there, I am a Redskins fan, have been one for more than 40 years. So I'm just being bluntly honest about my team. We have been a dumpster fire for about 20 years. So, no, yeah, it's been like that for a while, dude. So, when he came on, of course, I knew he was a really good player. I was just kind of skeptical. But, we did change owners. We changed GM. We changed the coach. And it looks like we've changed the culture. And, we've given him the support that he needs to, be able to be successful. And I think other teams should use that kind of as an example. And, of course, he hasn't had a long career. And, of course, his first season's not over yet. But, I mean, if you've seen how he's played as a rookie, your natural inclination is to believe that he's going to improve. Yeah. So, as he gets better and maybe the playbook gets opened up more, because he doesn't run excessively, so you can't say, oh, he's just a running quarterback. Nah, he sits in the pocket and throws darts.
Yeah, even got a Hail Mary win.
And he runs when necessary, but he doesn't look to run first. So the only thing that concerns me is he's a little thin. He's like, 6'3", and he might be 200 pounds maybe. But because he's not just running around willy-nilly all the time, I think he'll be okay. And I like what we put around him, and we just need to continue to build on that. Other teams need to take that into consideration. Like the Bears tried, but like I said, their coach is just terrible.
So with the Bears, do you say it's the coach, or of course the coach got fired, but would you say it was 100% the coach, or will you kind of put some blame on Caleb Williams? Like, okay, he's not what you expect him to be. This is not it.
Of course, Caleb Williams got to accept some of the blame, but I'm going to use an example that you just gave. Sam Darnold. Yeah. Was he not trash with the Jets?
I think his first play ever was a pick.
Was he not trash with the Carolina Panthers?
Yeah, okay.
Was he not mediocre even with the 49ers?
He was mediocre. I keep forgetting he was on the 49ers.
I think he was below average even with the 49ers. But he's played great with Minnesota, and they have a really good coach and a good organization. So, that goes to show you that if your quarterback has some talent, it takes the whole organization to kind of cultivate that. Another example would be like Tua.
I don't like Tua.
Okay, you don't have to like him, but I mean, look at. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say he's Super Bowl contender type quarterback, but look at Miami, how they played when he was out, and look how they play when he's in there. So I mean, like it's the same coach, it's the same receivers, it's the same everything, except for when he's not there, they can't score. But when he is there, they score a lot. Yeah. And, when he was drafted and Brian Flores was the coach, Brian Flores didn't really believe in him. And, now he's with a coach who does believe in him and supports him. And now we see what he can do. I think he's, kind of hit his ceiling, as being, a pretty good quarterback, but not really great. But I mean, I think that just proves the point that when a quarterback is supported by an organization that believes in him and plays to his strengths, that great things happen.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Hey, you spoke up on it. Travis Hunter going possibly winning the Heisman Trophy.
He gonna win it.
Possibly winning the Heisman Trophy tonight. Well, I will be watching, of course. Everybody's going to be watching because it's really between Genty and Hunter, and I think Hunter's going to win. Actually, I think Hunter deserves to win, but I think they're going to give it to Genty. I just think so. Nope. But so I know people don't know. Me and you, my mom, and one of my other friends, we are actually going to be in San Antonio, the Alamo Bowl, to watch Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, and Shiloh Sanders and Coach Prime all take on BYU in the Alamo Bowl. I'm excited for that. I know you're excited. I'm excited because I get to see quote-unquote greatness in front of my eyes, especially collegiate greatness. Coach Prime has taken, speaking of, he took Jackson State and turned them around. He's took in Colorado, who before he got there in Colorado was 1-11. I lived in Colorado for a short time, and I can tell you nobody talked about the Colorado Buffaloes. Nobody. They talked about Air Force before they talked about Colorado, and that is a fact. So he took a 1-11 team and turned them into a nice little probably powerhouse school right now. And so I get to see Coach Prime do his thing on the sideline. I get to see Shedeur actually do his thing on the field. I love how calm, poised he is on the field. I get to see that in person. I get to see Travis Hunter play both sides of the ball. Like I've played both sides of the ball, but to see it for his position is going to be even more phenomenal. And to see Shiloh, I think Shiloh is one of the best safeties in college right now. I think for somebody who your dad wasn't really a tackler, like Shiloh is a hard hitter. Like you don't see that in football really anymore. And like he's not afraid of contact. And like he will go in and put his head down and go crazy. So I'm happy to see him play. I think he's going to go kind of high, not first round, maybe late second.
I think he's a second pick.
Yeah, second round, not too high. Because to be honest, I feel like right now coming out, we got so many skills positions that's real good in this draft. Like the quarterback, there's only like 3 quarterbacks that we looking at. And that's Shedeur, that's Cam Ward, maybe Carson Beck.
I don't even think Carson Beck anymore.
No, you don't think so?
Well,
Quinn Ewers too though.
Before the season, I would have said Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers. I don't believe in either one of them now. And you see what I got on, so you know I'm all about them Longhorns. And hey, I would actually probably feel better about them playing Arch Manning right now.
Oh
wow. Quinn Ewers just, I mean, he makes plays sometimes, but I mean like. Too many mistakes, way too many mistakes. And at the next level, the game is so much faster. I mean, I'm not saying he can't be good, but I wouldn't pick him in the first round. Yeah. I think at the next level, he'd probably be something of a project, definitely where, you take him and maybe make him sit maybe a year or maybe even 2, before you hand him the keys to, make sure he's really ready because he makes some of the silliest mistakes.
Yeah,
Oh my God. I mean, and right now, so does Arch Manning, but Arch Manning is a sophomore in college. He's not NFL ready. But I think, Arch Manning has a dimension that Ewers doesn't, which is, he can run. And he threatens the defense that way. Ewers can run a little bit, but not where he's a real threat. Like he can maybe avoid the rush a little bit, but I mean, he's not scaring coordinators into putting a spy there for him or anything like that. But I agree with you on, like, there's only really 3 quarterbacks that's being checked for. Yeah. And it's Cam Ward, it's Shadur, and Dylan Gabriel. I think Dylan Gabriel will be good.
I didn't see, and me being an Oregon fan, I don't know what it was. I just didn't like Dylan Gabriel coming in. I didn't think he did that much at Oklahoma. But he's having a phenomenal season with Oregon in the Heisman race. I'm happy as an Oregon fan. I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm glad. But it's just like, this is probably one of the only years where I literally say, like, I'm not into this team, because I don't believe it, and they're proving me wrong week by week. The whole year they proved me wrong. So yeah, I think
wide receiver is the real deal.
Oh, Tez Johnson.
Man, yeah. What?
Yeah, I'm telling you, this year is skill positions. Dude, Genty's coming out. Travis Hunter, Tez Johnson. Like, dude, all these cats are skilled. Dude, I know he's not coming out for a while, but the freshman at Alabama, a fresh 17-year-old freshman made what? First team All SEC? A 17-year-old freshman made first team All SEC. Like,
2 more years. He got 2 more years where he has to be in college before he can even go pro. So if he was good enough to be All SEC as a freshman, by the time he's ready to come out after his junior year, Hey, Devontae Smith won the Heisman as a wide receiver. We might see him do it too. Yeah,
it's true. Dude, so the skill position is what I'm looking for. Skill position is going to be crazy. All right. Okay. We're going to get into some predictions, some bold predictions, and some NFL predictions. But before that, you have been ducking the smoke for 2 times. This is the 3rd time we're gonna get you today. Age game. If you know what the age game is I take your birth year, sometimes events around your birthday, and I ask you questions. I know a lot of times you're not going to know, but it's good to just probably guess. Right now, out of all the people that I've done the age game on, your sister has actually done the best. So I think she's got 2 or 3 right out of the 5 questions that I asked. So we're going to get into that. Okay. Let's start with question number 1. First of all, do you mind we say the year that you was born?
Oh, yeah, I'm not ashamed of it. It's 1971. 1971.
1971. Say the whole birthday for us.
I'm not saying my whole birthday.
1971, we own it. Okay. All right. In 1971, what was the number 1 song on the year that you was born?
The number 1 song for the whole year, or just the number 1 song the day I was born?
Yeah, it's the number 1 song the day you was born. Sorry.
Hell if I know that. I was just being born, dude. I wasn't checking for no music yet. It's probably some song that I've never heard of, actually. Rocket Man by Elton John.
Good try, but no. One more guess?
No.
All right. Number 1 song was Joy to the World by 3 Dog Night.
I actually know that song. I actually do know that song. I didn't realize it was number 1 when I was born.
You should have saw I was like, really? You should have saw my face. All right. In 1971, 2 musical artists / groups. So it's actually 1 group and 1 artist. Won Oscars on the 1971 Oscars Academy Awards. Can you name those artists? 1 is a group and 1 is a single artist. I say that.
Oh, 1971 groups that won an Oscar. So if they won an Oscar, you said both of them won Oscars. Mm-hmm. I only know that there's only 1 Oscar for music. So maybe it was a collaboration of some sort?
I think so. Because you can win some. I got to look at the award itself.
Yeah, like I don't watch any of them award shows. They all get on my nerves. But let's guess. The first thing that comes to my mind is Stevie Wonder.
Okay.
And in the group, The Temptations?
So, I guess you could say close, but not really. Different skin tones. I said different skin tones.
Oh.
The answer actually is the single artist is Frank Sinatra.
Okay.
And the group is the Beatles.
Not really a big fan of either one, even though I do like some of the Beatles music. But Sinatra is definitely way before my time.
Yeah. Even though I still listen to some Frank Sinatra songs. It depends on what it is. Okay. In 1971, can you tell me who won the NBA and NFL MVPs those years? So it'll be, for the NFL, it'll be the 1971 year, but the NBA is the 71, 72. It merges over. So, yeah.
Let's start with the NFL.
Okay.
I think I know this.
Okay.
Was it a Washington Redskin?
I looked up these questions so long ago. I don't remember.
You don't know? Okay. If I'm right about the NFL MVP, it was Larry Brown.
Okay.
NBA MVP in 71. I'm thinking, was Kareem in the NBA yet?
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, I'm thinking 80s. But I think he still was in the NBA. I was about to say he was well in the NBA. I was like, no, I'm thinking 80s with Magic.
I'm going to guess Oscar Robinson for the NBA MVP.
Oscar Robinson?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the first one, what was the first one you said?
Larry Brown.
Larry Brown. You're a year off because that was actually for Moms. 72 he won. 71, Alan Page.
Oh, okay.
And for the basketball, you should have went with your first gut. It was Kareem. But you close. I give you a half a point with that. I give you a half one because you didn't mention them. All right. Question number 4. In 1971, this source of technology was invented. A hint. It has to do with at least a computer.
A source of technology.
Was just invented 1971. Memory.
I know it was not the internet because the internet was actually invented in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Memory.
Mm-hmm.
Not the floppy disk.
Yeah.
It's the floppy disk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah. We got one. 1.5 point. We coming for you, Kira. So this is the last question. In 1971, this snack that is still a household favorite and even considered a job favorite was invented.
And even considered a what favorite?
A job favorite. Common is so common in jobs.
A snack that's so common in jobs?
And it's common in the household. Very common in the household. Especially the black household.
Oh, dude, now you testing my blackness, man. Damn.
The card is coming.
Oh, Lord. A snack on the job that's common in black households. Have you seen it in my house?
I have, only because my kids go over there. I know y'all rarely keep it because I know you barely eat it, but my kids was smashing.
Oh, dude, now you're asking me to keep up with what? Both of your kids?
Actually, yeah, they both eat them.
Okay, so.
Well, it's limited because XJ don't really eat that much.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So now I'm trying to think what he likes. That's a very short list. Well, of course, he likes popcorn, but I know popcorns have been around way before them.
Yeah.
The other snack that he eats all the time is them little chocolate muffins. And then, of course, everything else is pretty much candy.
It's a snack that you can consider. Let's say you can consider it lunch.
A snack that you can consider lunch that XJ eats.
Mm-hmm. Household favorite, job favorite. Be at the job, quick lunch. Eat that.
Oh, dude. I know I'm going to kick myself for not knowing this because I'm going to say a dumb guess. And I know it can't possibly be right. But, quick lunch. XJ eats it. And it's a quick lunch. Mm-hmm. And Negroes have it all the time.
You Negroes.
Oh, yeah, the clock is ticking, ain't it?
You got some time.
Chicken biscuit. I don't know.
No, it is actually the cup of noodles ramen.
Oh, okay.
So really, it's all ramen, but mostly the cup of noodles. So they started with the cup of noodles and they transferred it over to ramen. So if you would have said either one, I would have gave you the point.
Yeah, your kids do eat that, and like it's not really in our house much because neither one of us eat.
Yeah, and then I know you working the whole time. You see people smash noodles on break.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for playing the age game. Thank you for getting that. You got a 1.5 point. Kira still holds the record, but until then, hey, we got your age game out the way. I'm happy about that. Okay, let's talk about a couple of bold predictions and a couple of NFL predictions for the weekend. Okay, next week. Okay, actually, let's start off with NFL. We'll start with NFL because it's this weekend. All right, so you said it earlier. Washington plays the Saints in New Orleans. That is a 12 o'clock game. Who are you taking in that game?
I'm taking the Washington Commanders. However, I'm not overly confident. I do feel like we have to win this game. I mean, we just have to win it.
But you probably could lose, sir.
We could lose. I mean, well, it's the NFL. I mean, anything could happen. Mm-hmm. We should win it. I know we're like favored by like 7 points or something like that, which is nuts in New Orleans.
Yeah, 7.5 point favorite.
Crazy. But I think we'll probably pull it out, like maybe field goal late, something like that. We like to make it interesting too. We're like Texas. You know, we can't just dominate and run away with the game. We got to make it interesting. So
you gotta have me like on the edge of the seat and like you gotta have me panicking a little bit. We like that. We love drama. America loves drama.
Yeah, they love to run up my blood pressure.
All right. So I got Washington in that game as well. I think they're going to go in, and I think they're going to not kill the Saints, but I think the Saints are good, but they're a mess, and they can't get it right. So I think the Commanders come in and win. Let's call a bullshit game. Battle of the Shitties. We got New York Jets playing the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. Both teams are 3-10. It's going to be a noon game. I think that's going to be such a good game because both teams are terrible. And so, who do you got in that game?
I got to pick the Jets just because I think they have a better roster than the Jags. And I think, what's his name's not playing?
Lawrence.
Sunshine?
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence.
So, even though Mac Jones did pretty well the last game, is it in Jacksonville?
Yes.
Jacksonville then.
You got Jacksonville?
Yeah.
Okay. I had got Jacksonville as well. I think Jacksonville, I'm going for my division brothers, okay? They beat us last week, so I need y'all to keep going, okay? Let's get into some good games, okay? Afternoon game. Buffalo travels to Detroit and plays the Lions. That game is in Detroit. Detroit is actually the 2.5 point favorites over Buffalo. Buffalo is 10-3, already locked up the division. Detroit is 12-1. I think their division is pretty much locked up, right?
No.
Oh, they still got Minnesota. Yeah.
Only got one more loss, and they got to play them again.
Yep, you're right. Okay, so they're close though. That's going to be a fantastic game. I feel like. Possible, very possible Super Bowl preview. Very possible. Who do you got in this game, and what are your takes on that?
I'm gonna go Detroit. Okay. And for two reasons. One is that they can play offense any style. So if it's a shootout, they can play that way. If it's, a ground them out old school game, they can do that too. And they probably need to do that because I think Buffalo's going to try to air it out on them because their secondary can be kind of vulnerable. And their pass rush ain't what it used to be with Hutchinson out. On top of that, Detroit really needs to win this game. And Buffalo, because they lost that game last week, they're 2 games back of the Chiefs. And the Chiefs just kind of have cupcakes, with the exception, I think, Pittsburgh. Well, I wouldn't say just cupcakes, but, they need the Chiefs to, lose 2 more games. And I don't think that's going to happen. And so I think for them, it's almost like they've already locked up the division. The 1 seed is probably not going to happen. I don't think the motivation's necessarily going to be there. Detroit absolutely needs this game because they could mess up the number 1 seed because Philly's right there and Minnesota's right there. So I'll take Detroit.
You got Detroit? You got Detroit. I'm going to go away from that, and I'm going to say I got Buffalo actually pulling out the upset in Detroit. I think Buffalo needs this game a little bit more than Detroit because of seeding. If you can't get the number 1, you at least want the number 2. I know the Ravens are not threatening, but the Ravens can just have 4 fantastic games to end the season, win them all, and become that number 2 seed. So I think Buffalo needs this game, and I got them winning this game. Another good game that is very important. Pittsburgh, the Battle of Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh travels to Philadelphia, plays the Eagles. Pittsburgh is 10-3. Philly is 11-2. Who you got in this game?
I got the Steelers. Shout out Monty Kenton.
Hey, shout out Mont.
The biggest Steeler fan I know.
Yeah.
In any case, I just think they win the game, dude. Their defense is crazy.
Yeah.
Even though we did put 27 on them,
we're gonna leave that alone.
Yeah.
Sorry, Monty.
But I think they win this game. Philly's, kind of been skating by just a little bit. They just barely beat Carolina the week before.
That was weak.
Then they, of course, had this little internal drama thing, which I think is probably overblown. But just having to answer questions about it is,
it's annoying.
Yeah, and it can, take you out of focus. Really, they kind of have the division locked up. They still kind of have hopes for the number 1 seed, but they need Detroit to lose. I'm still going to go with Pittsburgh for 1. I think Russ is playing so good, better than anybody could have expected. And Jalen Hurts makes me scratch my head sometimes. So I'll take Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I know. Shout out to my homie Miles. He's a Philly fan, and he'll tell me all the time. He'll text me because we text each other after each game, and he'll be like, "Man, Jalen Hurts just makes." He say thing, man. Jalen Hurts makes me wonder sometimes. It's I don't know, bro. I thought he was playing good. Y'all good right now? I'm actually going to have Philly winning this game. Philly needs to win this game, and if Buffalo can beat Detroit and Philly can beat Pittsburgh, that's going to be an interesting way to end the season or going towards the end of the season in NFC because those two are going to be fighting back and forth for the number 1 spot. So I want to see Philly win this game versus Pittsburgh. Sorry, Monty. I love you, dog. All right. The Monday night games, we got Atlanta and Vegas, Chicago, Minnesota. I ain't going to even say those. Sunday night, though, Green Bay travels to Seattle. Packers versus Seahawks. In my opinion, Seattle needs this win. Needs this win. And it's gonna be a good game. Jordan, I mean, you can't say, oh, the cold matters. They both play in the cold. Only thing that can probably refrain me from saying that Green Bay has an unfair advantage is like time zone, but even then, like, it's a night game. So I personally think Seattle needs this game, but I think the Packers are going to win this game. What do you think?
I agree with you. I think the Packers, people don't mention them as much, but they have a really good team, and they got it all. They can run the ball. They can pass the ball. They got weapons on the outside. Those guys can play. And then on defense, they got a pretty good pass rush. They got decent linebackers, and they got a really good secondary too. So I think as long as the Packers don't beat themselves, which sometimes they have a tendency to do, I think they'll win that game.
Yeah, I got Green Bay. And on top of that, Jordan Love is playing great. I didn't expect Jordan Love to be like this. And it pisses me off even more looking at it like Green Bay, your scouting system has been great for 3 decades. 3 decades. You have had Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and now Jordan Love. And each quarterback, well, I don't know about Brett Favre, but for Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love, they had to sit behind a quarterback for a couple of years and get their turn, and their turn has been phenomenal. And so, yeah, I think Green Bay winning that. Okay. NFL, that was the NFL. Okay. Next week we got the start of the college football playoffs. I am so excited. On that Friday, so the games start on Friday. There's only one game on Friday, starting at 8 o'clock Eastern time, so 7 o'clock in Central. It's going to be number 12 Clemson versus number 5 Texas Longhorns. I know who you're going to take in this game. I don't even have to ask, but I'm going to ask anyway for the fans. Who do you got winning this game?
Well, right now, Texas is kind of giving away games, so I'm just going to pick the Texas Longhorns. Hook 'em.
Hey, man, please win this game, because if Clemson comes to Texas, beat Texas, I don't think I'm going to hear the end of it. Okay? I think Texas are the favorites. Game now going into Saturday. Saturday game started at noon. Noon is going to be SMU number 11 SMU going down to Penn State to play Penn State in the first ever really home and away playoff game format in the collegiate level. Penn State at home scares me on a video game, so I can only imagine how it is in real life. So who do you got? SMU at Penn State.
I got to pick Penn State only because kind of they're a known entity, and SMU, they've kind of been off the radar for a while. But the couple of games I've seen of Penn State, their quarterback is ridiculously inconsistent. Ridiculously inconsistent. Now, they have, a couple of weapons and a pretty good running game and a good defense, and they're super physical. If SMU can stand up to the physicality, I think it'll be a really good game. I'm still picking Penn State, but I think that would be the only game they win. Whoever they play after that, they're going to lose.
Penn State?
Yeah.
Okay. This game here starts at 3 o'clock Central, 4 Eastern. I think this is going to be not the game of the day, but this is going to be a game to watch. Indiana goes to Notre Dame. Both are 11-1. Both are great programs. Both are in Indiana, if I'm not mistaken.
That is true.
I'll pick Penn State, by the way. But looking at this, I'm going to go underdog. I think Indiana pulls out this game from Notre Dame.
I would actually love to see that. I really would love to see that. I don't think I'm going to see that, though. I think Notre Dame is going to blow them out. I think Notre Dame...
Blow them out?
Blow them out. I think Notre Dame kind of has an argument of, probably... I know they couldn't because of the whole conference thing. They should have been one of the top 4.
I hate that, but yeah.
They should have been one of the top 4. So, they had that terrible loss to Northern Illinois. But they have, put the pedal to the metal against every other team. And I think they're playing great. and they're a real threat to win it all. So I'm gonna take Notre Dame.
All right, Notre Dame. And then the night game on Saturday, December 21st. Number 9 Tennessee travels up north to play number 8 Ohio State. Both for 10-2. Both teams are. I feel like they match each other because they're good, but they can lose at certain stupid point and moments. Now, for a person who, I'm even from Tennessee, so a person who hates the Tennessee Volunteers and a person who hates Ohio State, I wish they both can lose. But it's impossible, so I'm going to say that I don't know. I had both people from people who are Tennessee fans and people who are Ohio State fans at work because I wear my Oregon hoodie. They be like, "Oh, if we win it, we come and see y'all next." I'm like, "Who are you?" Like, Ohio State, man. I ain't worried about you. like they both. Everybody, oh, Tennessee's going. I literally had somebody say, "Yo, Tennessee has the best path to go to the national championship." What are you watching? I'm not seeing it. Who do you got? Tennessee or Ohio State?
All right, I'm with you in hating Tennessee. I can't stand them. Can't stand them. Ohio State, I'm kind of indifferent about.
Yeah.
And I will say this. Either one of them teams could win the whole thing.
Yes.
I believe that. So, like, that's what makes this team so intriguing because of the 4 games, this is the only game where I think both teams actually could win it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to pick Ohio State, but the only reason I'm picking Ohio State is because they're at home.
Okay.
If this game was in Tennessee, honestly, I'd pick Tennessee.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be surprised to see Tennessee win this game. I really wouldn't. But I mean, only because they're playing at the Horseshoe. Yep. I'll pick Ohio State. But both teams have been really impressive this year, and both teams have had games where you're just like, what?
Yes.
But yeah, Ohio State.
Ohio State. And Tennessee quarterback. Are you only a freshman?
I don't know, but he's good.
He's good. He's real good. Okay, so that's the games for next week in college. We'll call 2 bowl games that I think are going to be impressive. The Pop-Tart Bowl is going to have Iowa State, and Miami. Cam Ward's last game in collegiate level, probably. I'd take Miami in that game.
Shout out Brian Jackson.
Shout out,
I'm with you. I'm taking Miami as well.
I got to text you back, actually. Then another one I'm thinking about is the one we're going to actually be at, the Alamo Bowl. BYU plays Colorado. BYU is 17. Colorado is 23. This is going to be a fantastic game, I think. I want Colorado to win. I think they have a chance to. I'm going to pick Colorado to win, even though Colorado is the 3-point favorite. So,
I want Colorado to win too, just because I'm such a fan of Deion Sanders, and I'm definitely a fan of what he's done with that program. Because 2 years ago, 1-11, 2 years later, 9-3. That's a fantastic job.
A fantastic turnaround, and so yeah, I hope they come out and they win. I'm excited to see them play. All right. Thank you guys for joining me today. Before we get up out of here, I'm going to say shout out to everybody we shouted out throughout the show. Monty, B, a lot of you guys I hope y'all are watching. Y'all sports fans, love y'all. Shout out to my parents for going through it with me my whole life. Not only that, I'm happy to do this experience with y'all of going to the game and seeing idol that we all had seen growing up and loved and fell in love with, and Deion. And for us to all go and experience that's going to be so cool. Thank you to everybody who's watching and keeping up with it and supporting me. Also, shout out and thank you so much to really just God blessing us. Almost a year ago, got the phone call for you to get the kidney. Thank you, God, for blessing us. Thank you to the people who were a part of that. thank you to everybody. I appreciate you. Any last minute shout outs and thank yous?
Shout out my wife who's looked out for me this entire time through that entire process. Really, she's looked out for me since even before we got married. I mean, that's why we got married. So, she's pretty damn cool.
She's A1. A1. All right, thank you guys so much for joining. I will see y'all next week on episode 34. This is episode 33. Hey, Kareem episode. So we are going to be heading out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for coming on once again, sir. We will have another one. We will have are we going to confirm a fourth part 4?
I'm down.
All right, we're going to confirm that. I don't know when. Maybe I'm thinking All-Star Weekend probably. It sounds like a good. Yeah, okay. All-Star Weekend, we'll do something. We'll set up. We'll have everything decorated. We'll even draft teams like they used to, just to have fun of it.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah, okay. So we're gonna have something planned in store for y'all. Thank you guys so much. Zay for Life is out.